Good morning and welcome everybody. This is the Ragnarok Ranger from Ragnarok Theory coming to you with a bunker session this Tuesday morning. Okay, a bit of a conversation this morning through something that happened last night through complacency that just got me to thinking. Okay, first aid. This isn't going to be about first aid, but it's just like, fortunately, I'm well practiced in first aid. I'm not one of them who's just done a first aid course and never used it. I have done CPR, I've dealt with skin tears and all sorts of working in care homes for 6 years and blah, 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 right? And I actually quite enjoy first aid, so if you got an accident and you want to have it up and by, yeah, you know what I mean. Well, last night, I comes in from work. I only work in 8-hour shifts, but I'm up early in the morning, so it's a long day. I come in and I always do certain things before I sit down and watch telly and have a brew before I go to bed. Wind down a little bit. So, as per plan, one of the things that I've got my little Yeti cup that I take to work for having drink things. Fantastic for keeping stuff warm. Right? And so I'll always leave that filled up with boiled water out of a kettle overnight. And because we started taking protein shakes with me again rather than buying them, because it's crap what you can buy, I was spending time waiting for the kettle to boil back up and just swilling that out. Anyway, then I filled that one up, and my head told me that I still needed to fill the Yeti up. And I went like that, and I dunked my hand up to there into boiling hot water out of a kettle. Right? Takes about 2 to 3 seconds for me to register pain like that. My word, I knew what I'd done instantly. I pulled my hand out, right, whacked cold water on, got my hand straight under cold water. Right, that is always going to be the best thing you can do. I'm at the sink anyway. Running cold water is always been what you've been told to use in first aid, and the reason being because it cools the burn, and that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to cool it down. And it will always tell you it's got to be 10 minutes. And people think they've done 10 minutes. You haven't. 10 minutes is a long time to keep your hand under freezing cold water. Okay, so I thought, look, right, I've got my first aid kit in my bag. I went and got it, and I got out my burn gels. Right, I will put this back up at the end. This is the current burn gel that I carry. I bought a box of about 50 or something of these, and the crap just did nothing. Maybe it's me it didn't work for, but I'm going to have to rethink, because I think some of these have been put into kits that I'm going to sell and that, so I'm going to have to drag them all apart. I am not prepared to put this brand in when it failed me so bad last night. I put it on, and for a few seconds I thought it was going to work, but then it just started burning. So I read it and it says you may need to cover it. So I thought, right, cover it. Got my cling film out like we used to be taught. Wrapped my hand in cling film with a burn gel on, and it just seemed to make it worse. Right, so for me, it did not work. I will not use them again for myself. I will keep a couple in my first aid kit to try in an emergency, possibly on other people if I needed to. And if I really need to try it again and wrap it, it might be better than nothing, but my hand was just burning. So I ended up back under the tap, right? I tried another pouch of it, because you do, don't you? Because it's burn gel, it's supposed to stop it hurting. It doesn't, or it didn't for me. So once more, if you go on Amazon, you see this brand and you buy it in emergency, if it fails you, hard luck, you've been warned. Yeah, I'm just hoping that if I ever need to use something as serious as these, I've got 2 or 3 different brands of these, right? But again, unless you want to burn yourself and try it, you never know if it's going to work. Hopefully this is a bit better than the gel idea, because it's like a cloth that you can wrap round and that. But pray I never need it. I didn't open one last night because it's a massive waste. When I thought it'd been 10 minutes, which it probably was, because my missus was complaining this morning until she found out why, just how long I'd been running the tap for, because we had a water meter put in. Yeah, but it still started burning. So I just got an ice pack out of my freezer, doubled it over, wrapped it round tight, and I just kept it on for about 15 more minutes, and it did enough to be able to go to bed and feel all right. And as you can see, I've woke up with no blisters. right? Water, ice, no blisters. Burn gels, not sure what my hand had look like this morning. Anyway, that's what brings me to today's subject. Happy coffee day. I started thinking, what would have happened again if I'd had no water in my taps? All I had was the burn gels. I'd have had to try one of them dressings, wouldn't I? Right? And then I thought, well, the ice pack did well, but what if my electric were off and I had no ice packs? What would I do? I'm back to burn gels, which failed me, and the dressing, which is an unknown. Right? And you know, this is the kind of things that I think about when I'm trying to come up with subject matter. And as you can see, I've got my little notes, no crazy, just prompts, because I know I ad-lib too much. And I started thinking about the 36 hours, because you find a lot of people will say bug out bags, emergency bags, blah, 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 they need to be for 36 hours. No, they don't. Maybe if you've got a bag in your car for 36 hours, that might be useful. But if you're bugging out 36 hours, it's going to get you far. And if you're actually in your property when something goes wrong, it's not the bag you need, it's the supplies for your house. Right? So I started thinking, what's the first thing that's going to happen? If there was a massive event in this country, say an EMP from a Russian source, we'll say as National Grid went down, because that's one of the worst things could happen, besides being bombed by an enemy. Right? You've got to start understanding what happens when the National Grid goes down. There's no power. Okay, so your taps stop running, and the water that is in there is not being treated, it's coming out of the pipes, it's getting stagnant. It's like your toilet. So we've been through this kind of thing before. Nothing works. Right? And if you haven't got ways of if you haven't already stored water, or if you haven't got a way to purify the water that you're drinking, right, you're just going to get further and further into trouble. Okay, so the first things people do is panic. And we've seen this before. Long before trouble happens, people start panicking. Fuel runs out, fuel stations. Food runs out. Right? Food's going to run out after 3 days anyway, right? Because the trucks aren't going to run. Because even if the trucks can run, they can't bring frozen produce, and don't be fooled, all your fresh produce is frozen while it's in them trucks. Yeah, they can't transport it non-frozen because it ain't going to last. Yeah, it's going to be well fermented by the time you try to eat it. Right? So it's on this 36-hour cycle, right? You know what I mean? And they'll keep adding to the stock. That's going to stop happening. The shelves are going to clear. Toilet roll will definitely go, won't it? But people they'll still panic buy milk, blah, blah, blah. So if you are going to try and go to the shops, you start needing to think, what should I get? What's going to be useful for me? Yeah. So you're probably better off going to see if there's any wipes left rather than toilet roll. Because people aren't thinking that, thinking toilet roll. Dried milk powders. Yeah. This the stuff that you know is going to be sustaining. If you've got water source, dried foods that you can rehydrate. Yeah. If not, there's loads and loads of packages about in supermarket. When it's in 2 minutes in microwave, check them. Most of them will boil in the bag. The plastic ones, I've seen a guy do it on YouTube, right, and they were fine. So some of them will boil in the bag, right? If they're the plastic you feel or Mylar, you can boil them in a bag, yeah. A couple of minutes and you've got a warm meal. Right? But what kind of person is going to like do that? Because only the strong will survive the horde. Right? So if you're of a not naturally fighting disposition and sticking up for yourself, don't go near the supermarket, don't go near the petrol garage, you ain't getting in, because as soon as someone comes up and says, get off or I'll kill you, you're going to give in. So it's just a waste of your energy being there, kind of thing. Same with DIY stores. People will panic buy from DIY stores, right? And most people that are into prepping will probably head for DIY stores if they've got enough supplies of other stuff. At least you'll get to the DIY store first, where you can pick up a few things of use. Okay, so that first stage is something happens, Right? The national grid's down, everything becomes a panic. Everyone starts panicking. And during the panic, right, you're going to get lost in the crowd. Which is why I keep saying you need to already have the kit in advance. It's no good waiting for the panic. So when everyone else is out there going, you're sat at home eating your corned beef hash, drinking clean water, making coffees, right? Shutting out the world and waiting for things to right itself. Okay. After the panic phase is the realisation, right? I'm not prepared. I can't handle this situation. I don't go down to that supermarket. Look what happens. They all like fight and blah, blah, blah. I'm not risking driving my car because a bit of petrol I've got, I might need later if someone doesn't siphon it. Yeah? So this strange realisation. And then there's the other side of it is, can you defend yourself? Would you be willing to try and defend yourself and your family? If the worst comes to the worst, realisation that you're not this superhuman that you thought you were. No one is. Yeah? Right. That's a very strange feeling. It's a leveller. And if you've never been through a stage of your life where you've been levelled, then you can't understand what it's like to be on the floor beaten and have to drag yourself back up. I still come from the era where we called it manning up. I know no one calls it that anymore, but that's what I still do. I don't care what other people do. But when I'm down and out, I man up, I suck it up, and I just get on with it. And that's just me. Put yourself back together, Humpty Dumpty, rebuild the egg, and carry on. You've got no choice, especially when everything's gone wrong. Nothing else will work. You either step up or step down. And when you step down, you've given in. And then you've lost anyway. And then reality, you're waiting for another dawn. Right? I challenge you one evening to go to your darkest room, close all the curtains and blinds, put a big blackout blanket up for an hour and put a blindfold on and just sit there in absolute darkness. We don't understand darkness. We've got a blackout blind. I always have a slight gap in my bedroom door, so I don't have to fumble for thing if I get up during night. And for handle, I can just go like that, right? And just the slightest bit of light from outside. We've got a humidifier going, and all of a sudden, something blooming light will come on that. So complete darkness is a myth at the moment. We don't understand it. Put yourself in complete darkness. Put some earphones on, your Defenders, not earphones, not nice Ozzy Osbourne music in it, not like that, or your Iron Maiden, a t-shirt under there, yeah, some ear defenders to actually block out the noise, and try and sit there for an hour, and try and gauge that hour, because you've got a blindfold on, you can't see time, you're in darkness, you can't see time, yeah, forget that you can see the time, right, and try and sit there for an hour, and that would be the truth. On a night when all the lights went out, be in darkness. There might be moon out, there might not. But even moonlight, it's not going to light the dark. Not how we're used to it. Yeah? So you're just waiting for another dawn to come. You need to think about that, don't you? Just sat there, helpless. You've got no supplies. What you have got, you sat there terrified that someone might come busting through your door to see if you've got what they want, and not feeling you've got the ability or the utilities with you to try and defend yourself. Right, on that happy note, I'm going to leave you alone, and just remember, we don't prepare to survive, we prepare in case we survive. Survival is an instinct, and instinct is everything. Take care out there, stay safe, and I'll see you on the next video.